Hello, my little spooklings. Welcome to my 2021 Christmas compilation. Here you will find a series of Christmas stories I've written for other collabs, and also featuring an amazing story written by Beautiful Nightmare. Please do yourself a favor and check her out. Krampus is my father. Christmas for most people is a happy occasion. If they celebrate it, that is. Occasionally, there are those who forget to leave a little something out for Santa, or somehow manage to insult the elves. That's always really fun to watch when the elves get their revenge. Or sometimes, there is simply not enough money to get little Timmy the latest toy he wants. Something expensive, and will be discarded within about a year for the next overpriced piece of garbage. Children will receive presents. Parents will watch the children play and show excitement about what they have received. Unfortunately, they won't get the credit, of course. A lot of the time you will see parents flexing on each other. Whose children ended up gaining the most presents? The cheesy photographs. Spending time with family you barely tolerate or like. All because it is part of the holidays. Being able to blame Santa for spoiling their children, while other children who couldn't get presents wonder what exactly they did wrong. The perfect consumer paradise of gluttony and excess. In some cases, it doesn't matter if the children have been well behaved or not. Maybe Krampus should be taking the parents instead. Although, he is rather stuck in his ways. Krampus has a quota of children he needs to take each year. At least, according to him. And I haven't found anything to say otherwise. Every year, you get to hear parents complain about how children always find new ways to disrespect them. And society as a whole. Considering most of them have spent their lives comparing to the previous generation. Nothing but a glorified fantasy. They tend to forget their own misgivings in favor of the good old days. The time when children respected their parents. Society was better overall, and everything else. Yada, yada, yada. Whatever those were supposed to be. Krampus has grown in popularity in recent years, especially in the US, and that has only increased his reach and power. I can see why. People can embrace the spookier elements of Santa, or a Santa-like figure. They can get into the Christmas spirit and laugh at the idea of bratty kids being punished for being obnoxious. What people don't realize is that Krampus is a real-life entity, and my father. We have a slightly strained relationship, and I imagine you'll discover why soon. While St. Nick is out giving presents and good cheer, Krampus is seeking out children. Now, I've often wondered this myself. Why are there so many entitled little shits these days? You could blame anything really, I suppose. Social media, kids not being disciplined enough, parents being out of the home more. Maybe blame it on schools, or perhaps on influencers encouraging the children to be obnoxious. The truth is though, kids have always had a tendency to be naughty. Krampus serves a purpose. He will take the children who are naughty. And there are a lot of children to choose from. And that's where I come in. It is my job to select the children that are taken. Now, it all depends on how much I've had to drink, or whether I've been offered any gifts. The decision to take a child is mostly on a whim. Last year, 10 children were taken. The usual number, sometimes more. It varies in number. You really don't want to know what happens to them. It is bloody. And I've only just managed to get the gore out of my hair. Sometimes I go by children who are rotten. You know, the ones that will grow up to be psychos. And you do the world a favor by getting rid of. Admit it. You thought that yourself more than once when you see these kids. Come on. Just admit it to yourself. Other times, I have to admit, sometimes I go down a more chaotic route. My reason? Pure entertainment. Once I have selected the children, I write down the children's names in ash and blood on a piece of parchment before burning it in an open flame. I'm not sure of the exact process, but the names will go up in flames and it is sent to Krampus. Once the names are written down, it is permanent. There is no redemption. No going back. Krampus will arrive around December the 5th in order to claim the naughty children. The more intuitive of you may realize something is coming, and there are ways you can ward him off. Not that I will tell you them. He will find a way into your home, scoop up the precious child, and throw him into his sack before heading off to find the next child on his list. The sack moving with the squirming and screaming kids while Krampus takes them away, never to be seen by their family ever again. Have you ever noticed around December a lot of children tend to go missing? There'll be missing posters going up and campaigns on Facebook in order to try to find the children. It will be as if they simply vanished, disappeared, gone. Parents and their families will spend a lifetime worrying and wondering what happened to their child. Wishing they could have done something, anything different. Now, knowing all of this, knowing you will never see him again, knowing he will suffer a terrible fate, knowing he will never be found. Are you sure you want Krampus to take your little brother? You Stole My Candy Cane. Written and narrated by Lady Spookaria. I love Christmas. It is my favorite time of year. And I need to make sure everything is perfect. And I mean everything. Absolutely perfect. I don't want to disappoint anyone, ever. I make sure my house is perfectly spotless, presentable, and richly decorated. I need everyone in the street, no, the state to know how much my house is the best. Our Christmas lights are extravagant displays that the local papers even promote. I am, what you could say, a local celebrity. I get to see the envious look on my neighbors' faces and watch their insecure smiles. I know deep down they would love to be where I am, but not everyone can be at the top. I especially love getting pictures with them and looking at the photos well after the festive season has passed. Our little cul-de-sac becomes the highlight of the community. My entire family joins in. They know better than to make me angry. They wear the fancy Christmas sweaters, Santa hats, help putting everything out. It has to be perfect. Anyway, the ornaments outside are well known throughout the community. There are reindeer, a nativity scene, Santa's elves, anything and everything you can imagine. We have little goodies bags we give out to children. And I've been interviewed so many times by the local news reporters. This is my game. So, as one would expect, when that bitch moved in across the road with her lofty goals for being my rival, I needed to take a stand. It didn't matter that she has a different style or people love both our places. No. She has to go. One day, I was cleaning the kitchen and I looked out the window to see her son steal a candy cane from my tree. We have cameras, sure, but it always stings different when you get to see what happens with your own eyes. That little shit destroyed the design. He needed to be taught a lesson. I fixed my hair, wore my most polite smile as my heels clicked as I walked across the road to their house. I knocked on the door and told her what happened. I expected some kind of punishment. But all I got was the kid giving me an apology. Just a simple apology. Nothing else. How I wanted to cause a scene. I couldn't though. I smiled and thanked her for her time. How could that bitch realize what she was doing to me? To my glorious display. Oh, this would not go unpunished. I put out a replacement candy cane and the little shit kept his hands to himself. My mother taught me never to let anyone disrespect you. That boy and his mother would have to pay. I waited until Christmas Eve to hatch my plan. I faked being sick and encouraged my husband and the kids to take over for me. The good thing about having cameras around the house is you can offer advice and criticism to them when they slip up, which is often. Tell them to smile more or to show off to the guests. While that was taking place, I went over to the neighbor's house, and fortunately, people were busy looking at my home and enjoying the holiday season. I had a box of candy canes. Oh, I was going to make sure they knew never to mess with me ever again. I went over with my famous eggnog that may or may not have been laced with sleeping pills. I knocked on the door. The mother looked confused but was happy to let both me and my peace offering inside her home. I told them it was best to let bygones be bygones. I told them to sit down, poured them some eggnog, and watched while each of them drank. Outside, the song Jingle Bells filled my ears as the carolers sang. I secured them, and I know this was a risky move. But you don't become the St. Woodsville Avenue Christmas lawn display grand champion 7 times in a row by being a little bitch. They were tied with their backs together, gagged, and I readied my box of candy canes. The ungrateful shits better stick to the damn script. They woke up, squirmed, and let out a muffled scream through their gags. Perfect. Just as I had planned. So, do you like my candy canes? I rested one against her cheek. I don't think she understood my artistic style and gave me a bitchy look. That wouldn't do. I took the end and pushed it into her eye. It made a squishing pop sound as it entered and she screamed. Now, I am not a violent woman. I don't have a violent bone in my body, but sometimes You need to correct a bitch. I used a knife to sharpen the candy canes and plunged half a pack into her eyes. I would be making a statement. She screamed, thrashed around. I'm pretty sure she said words that were inappropriate around children. So damn crass. She whimpered and went limp. Just as bland as her pathetic gingerbread men, I'm sure, were purchased from Walmart. Next, I went to her son. The little shit who couldn't keep his damn hands to himself. Now, I love children. They are all precious angels. Except this kid. Now, you brought this on yourself. No one messes with my Christmas. Including you. I said and drove the candy canes into his eyes. Just like his mother. It may not have been creative or anything. I kept adding more and more until he matched her. And he passed away. Just like her. I cleaned up before I left. Made sure I left no hair or fingerprints. No sign I had been there. There were many strangers in the streets, so I could say I saw a creepy vagrant passing by. I went back to my house, cleaned myself up a bit, and went outside to greet the guests. My family looked confused and relieved. No one suspected a thing. Have a merry, merry Christmas. Last Christmas. Written by Beautiful Nightmare and narrated by Lady Spookaria. The scent of pine wood fills my nostrils as I walk down the upstairs hallway. My hand travels along the elegant wood railing until I reach the staircase. I place one foot in front of me to see that it's translucent. That's odd, I think to myself. I shake the weird incident out of my mind and descend the staircase to see my husband and my children hugging a woman that I don't recognize. The woman is about 5 feet, 8 inches tall, with long dark red hair and gorgeous blue eyes. She's absolutely beautiful. Honey, what the hell are you doing? I shout. My husband flinches, as if hearing me shout wasn't something he has heard before. Yet, he doesn't look my way. My children don't look at me either, which is strange, because they've always devoted their attention to me. Something isn't right. I cautiously make my way over to my family, just as they take a photo around the Christmas tree. I reach out to gently stroke my daughter's cheek, but my hand goes right through her. Stunned, I pull back and stare at my hand. Stunned, I pull back and stare at my hand. The translucent glow is astonishing. I look down at my hand, then at my daughter several times before trying again. She must feel something, because she keeps uncomfortably rubbing her cheek. My husband is tensed and my son glances in my general direction with a sullen look. What on earth is happening? I attempt to touch the various decorations on the Christmas tree with no luck. My hand goes straight through everything. My desire to touch something, anything, overwhelms me as I try to touch the red-haired woman. She combs her hair with her fingers and shivers. What's wrong, babe? My husband asks. Everything, I reply. Nothing, the woman responds. I just got a cold chill. What the fuck? I angrily question. Yeah, I'm sorry, he apologizes. That happens a lot in this house. It's alright, I can put on my jacket. She smiles. Let me turn the heat up, Cynthia. This is your home now too. Oh, hell no, I holler. The bulbs on the tree shake when my voice bellows. The kids spin around with wide eyes when a few of the decorations fall to the floor. Glass shattering everywhere. Cynthia takes their hands and guides them towards the couch. My husband runs into the kitchen and returns with the broom, as well as a dustpan to clean up the mess I had just caused. Frustrated at the current situation that I am in, I lash out at everything nearby, just hoping my hand will finally hit something. Alas, it does not. I can feel the sense of dread come upon me when I notice the ugly gash on my right forearm. That's when all the memories come flooding back. My sister, Clarence, had gone missing on Christmas Day last year. My brother had called the police when he discovered the note that she had left in the guest bedroom, declaring she was done with life and could no longer bear the torment of this world. The police searched everywhere in town for my sister, but only in Willow's Hollow Forest did they find evidence of her suicide. There was a small altar on the ground in the clearing of the forest. A small puddle of blood was found laying next to it. A trail of blood was found leading further into the forest, as if something caught her attention. The crime scene they found not far from the clearing was appalling. There were several small bite marks on her body, like something had been extraordinarily hungry. Hungry enough that it would feast on a human. We have no animals like that in Willow's Hollow. So everyone was stunned with what really happened to my sister. Stricken with grief from my last conversation with her, I decided I couldn't handle living any longer. Guilty for what had been a part of the reason she was no longer with us. I remember writing out a note to my family, explaining that I could no longer live this way, and the reason why I was doing this. My husband and children were out playing in the snow when I climbed into the bathtub fully clothed. I turned on the faucet and let the water run until it was up to my shoulders. I was already starting to feel the guilt settling over me when I picked up the razor blade that had popped out. I forced the blade into the wrist of my right arm and dragged it up my forearm, just watching as the blood poured into the bathwater. The water quickly enveloped the crimson liquid as I repeated the action of my other arm. I remember feeling so warm when my chest began to tighten from the panic. I remember the feeling fading as the moments slowly ticked by. The longer my blood mixed with the water, the more my body began to grow cold until I couldn't take it anymore. I was feeling lightheaded. My world was blurry. My body was cold, and I could not keep my eyes open. I closed my eyes while caving into the darkness. I knew I wasn't going to heaven after what I had just done, but I didn't care. I was hoping that I could get to see my sister again. Not being able to touch my husband, children, or even the Cynthia was devastating. Watching the now happy family shiver at the very thought of my presence was disturbing. The fact that they no longer wanted to associate themselves with me after the tragedy they'd went through was, no, it is the damn travesty. There is nothing more that I want to do than be able to hug my husband and tell my children that I love them. I can't do that. I can't do anything. I am stuck in this void of endless torment all because of last Christmas. Had things not turned out the way they had last year, then I wouldn't be where I am now, forced to watch my family move on with their lives, while I am trapped in an endless loop where things are always out of reach. Last Christmas, I killed myself. And no one was around to stop me. Man, I really wish there had been. I hope you enjoyed these stories. Please do yourself a favor and subscribe or follow Beautiful Nightmare on Twitter or on YouTube. Don't forget to like, comment, share the video. This video is made with the support of my incredible Patreons and channel members. Do consider signing up if you wish to support me. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Stay safe, my little spooklings. And remember, I'll be watching you.